and therefore to share his journey and what specifically is required in terms of intervention from the government. I would request Vijay to come and speak. Vijay is the CEO of Karmic. He, he set up this company a few years back, and he has some very interesting thoughts to share on his journey in terms of trying to do business with India. He has earlier been with Texas Instruments. Over to you, Vijay.
So thank you, Pradeep, and thank you, ISA, for inviting Karmic. This is my first time to the summit, so I really appreciate all the discussions that are ongoing, and definitely encourage us to do more for the India market. I'm coming from a little different angle, more on the service side. How we started it was about 12 years ago. Our managing director, Dr. Mahan Shetty, started the company. And since then, we have grown significantly, not only in doing layout work, which is our bread and butter still today, but also we have now ventured into test and verification, analog design, and trying to dabble into creating a fab, not so much for creating ICs, but more for training people, so that in the coming years, when we have fabs in India, the manpower, the resource that we required to man those companies, we would want to create that. Okay. So a lot of the team members over here have spoken about the world market, the Chinese market, the Chinese dominance. So I'll skip those slides. However, like everyone has mentioned, India shares only like about 5% or even less, like someone pointed out, 3.5%. So with that, I'll go to the service industry discussion. This is a very hard-earned industry in India, and it started almost 15 years ago when Dr. Mahan brought analog to India for the first time. It's an industry that needs to be nurtured and preserved as well as enhanced so that we grow as a country. There's a very good example on the back office where the Philippines basically took over the business that India had a few years ago. China is still a real threat. The MNCs abroad are looking at China for design, for manufacturing, and also filling in the product requirements in India that a lot of you have mentioned. So the IP protection in India is very weak and worrisome for a lot of the MNCs. This is something that in Karmic we have addressed head on. And then the other thing is most MNCs do not take the time to train the fresh engineers that come from engineering colleges. The engineering resources generated by engineering colleges today are not employable in the VLSI industry as they come in. So they have to be trained, they have to be put in industrial experience. Going back to education, they say people who have talent should not be denied opportunity. And talent is not necessarily a kind of equivalence to degree that a person has. And this is very important. A person may have degree, but may not have the talent. And the talent is not the sole property of people who have degrees. At Karmic, we have recognized this. And we have BE grads who we have interviewed, and they're on board, but they study side by side with the young students that we have recruited from schools after SSLC. And a lot of people were very skeptical in the beginning that how can you train a SSLC student with all these complex VLSI designs and flows and everything else. We have done it. We have a model internal to Karmic that we have been using for the last 2-3 years. And to be frank, there are a lot of major Fortune 500 companies initially said no to us, and that they did not want to hire the SSLC students that we had trained. Qualcomm was the first major company to give us an opportunity and recognize that these young SSLC students can indeed do the same work of experienced BE graduates. So we really like to thank Qualcomm and the Qualcomm team over here for giving us the chance and really integrating our Karmic engineers into Qualcomm. So this is unique. This is unique, and I think Honorable Sachin Pilot this morning mentioned about 2/3 of the Indian labor force is in the agriculture industry, and how we can convert that to generating more GDP in the semiconductor industry. So here's one way to do it, where we get those folks and train them right after SSLC. So what happens if you don't? What if you don't? A lot of these people are from poor families, don't have money to go to colleges. What happens if we do not employ or train these young SSLC students? They'll work in the farms, become coolies. Here we have managed to get them educated, and instead of $1 a day, now they're earning more than $50 a day. Okay. 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 Here's a little complex picture of what the Karmic vision is. And Dr. Mahan Shetty, who's our managing director, is very, very cognizant of the social causes and social support that we need to provide as a company. We train all our engineers and SSLC students, and not in Bangalore, but in a very small village called Nesargi. We have now expanded that to Bailongal, and just last week we expanded that to a place called Shirsi nearby. So we're staying away from the big cities. We're going to the rural areas and training the local teams over there. So besides design activity and layout activity, we also have started now product engineering in the US. We have started systems that a large Fortune 500 company has closed the fab, where we can have one of those fabs and primarily use it for training people. All right. Oops, sorry. I'm sorry. I went too fast here. So being from Karmic, we'd certainly like to encourage other folks to have a model like ours, where we have a training center, a design center, and maybe the government can help us set up some of these things, or at least encourage where we can have these training and research centers all across the country. This integration of the SSLC students into the industry, we find it very, very important. Talking to a lot of the senior VPs and presidents in the US, they clearly see that the cost of doing an IC, the R&D cost that Balaji mentioned in his presentation, is very, very crucial. The customer, the consumer will not pay more than a certain amount for a certain product. Okay, so how do we keep the cost down? And if you look at Bangalore, a lot of you folks are on the expectation in there for salaries is pretty linear. So how do we compete with the Chinese? And there's a very good book that is out, written by Professor Peter Navarro, The Coming China Wars. I hope some of you can read that and get some inputs on that. But we feel that if there's a mix of talent, whether it's SSLC, BE grads, or folks from IITs, I think that mix is what will get us through in the coming years. Most individuals and venture capitalists had worked in industry abroad. However, they've been turned away from India in the past. It's primarily because of red tape and bribery. I don't know how much the government can help, but if we can curtail or help some of the environment that doesn't take place, we can bring in a lot of the talent and a lot of the venture capitalists back into India. The present clean rooms over here are primarily in institutions like IITs. We hope the government can help us convert them to industry or attach to industries so we can generate new designs, new ICs for this country for internal consumption. Here's a little quick update on what all we provide to our customers. Primarily a very strong commitment. Most of all, we provide very, very strict IP protection to all our clients, and we do that by having each customer in a different location completely, so that there's no mixing of IPs, and IPs are protected. So we encourage a lot of the Fortune 500 companies to come over here and work with us. We tend to get into issues or problems that are hard to solve. So by doing that, we differentiate ourselves from the other service providers in the industry, and also add value to the company. Okay. Thank you all, and most of all, thank you to our Managing Director, Dr. Mohan Shetty, who has taught us not only to just think out of the box, but also perform out of the box or execute out of the box. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Thank you very, very much.